All right, here we are at November the 6th, a beautiful day here in South Georgia. I guess the rut is just about to get full swing. Seen a lot of activity out there in the woods. I'm making this video because of the number of comments that I've had about this decoy. I'll tell you this, I'm convinced that this would be an effective way for an archer to both hide behind this and shoot and get a deer to not realize what was happening. However, I got a number of comments that was indicating that I thought that I had a death wish and that somebody was going to shoot me and all that. Making yourself a target was very well put by one commenter. And I have been thinking about that. Now, there's a disclaimer on the back of this thing here. And it basically says, you might get shot if you're not careful. And it says, use this at your own risk. Don't use it any place where you aren't positive that there's a person out there with a rifle. And even a bow hunter could shoot you accidentally with this. There's not really any place like that, honestly. Even our big management areas around here, they have archery only areas that are in the thousands of acres large. But see, people live around the periphery of these management areas. They're out in the country, and there's people that basically live right on the edge of it. And they probably slip in there and hunt from time to time. It's such a big area, you know, it'd be awfully hard to get caught. So I don't think there is any safe place. Maybe on your own private property, but even that's not, you know, because people slip on private property. So my conclusion is this. I really would love to be able to work with this and have the thrill of shooting a deer by using the deer head decoy method, which the Native Americans used. It's in all of the old writings. It was mentioned many times in the original sources of the early pioneers that they used these deer head decoys. And I've mentioned before, I think that the Indian headdress, turkey headdress, was probably a remnant of a time when they would get behind a log and wear a headdress and act like they were a turkey and shoot deer. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get out there and do it at this time. I think it's pretty remote that I would get shot, but I also don't want to feel like that I've encouraged anybody else to do it by my video. So I'm advising people not to use this method. I'm saying I think that this getting a deer is definitely possible other ways. You can get shot not using this. People get shot all the time. One commenter said that all hunters will shoot at anything. Well, that's not true either. Some hunters will. I've known hunters. I had a friend who, when he saw a deer with his rifle, he would empty the magazine, just bam, 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 until he had no bullets left. And he killed a lot of deer also. But that's not the way I hunt with a rifle. I don't do it much, but I prefer a very close shot, and I prefer a scope with a rifle that has been checked out and make sure that it's on point. And to me, 60, 70, 80, maybe 100-yard shot, that's just me. I know there's guys around here that'll shoot at them at 300 yards. That's not really what this thing is about. It's about this right here. So I'm saying no to this. I'm going to try to figure out ground blinds, and I've got this Millennium tripod stand. I set that up today, in a very promising area, and I'll be hunting from it. It's a 7-foot. Over in England and Europe and all, they have tree stands or ladder stands. They call them high seats, and they're just 7 or 8 feet. I don't know if they climb up trees or not over there too. They probably do. 7 or 8 feet's high enough to fool a deer, especially if you are very careful about where you put your stand and how you hunt. So, as far as the deer head decoy, I'm saying no to it. But I'm saying yes. You see this chair that I'm sitting in? This chair is probably 25 years old. You can buy those things at Walmart right there. I don't know, they used to, sometimes you could buy them on sale for $12 or $10. There's no more comfortable chair that I know of than that right there. I bought a Chama chair. It's called a Chama chair. Shoot, that joker was $200 or $300 or more, and advertised as the greatest hunting chair in the world. Didn't make any noise and this and that. Let me tell you all the bad things about the Chama chair. It's very expensive. This is not even $20 here, and it'll last and last and last. The Chama chair squeaks and makes noise. The Chama chair is heavy. The Chama chair is not comfortable. A 5-gallon bucket is more comfortable than a Chama chair. It's just an expensive chair that is not, to me, is not what it's cracked up to be. If I could send that Chama chair back right now, I would send it back and get my money back. All right, so I say yes to the Walmart chair and no to the Chama chair. I've hardly ever had one. We used to do tours here on the farm, and we had a big wagon, and we put these kind of chairs up on the wagon for people to sit in, and they work very well. You could leave this in the woods too. I mean, they're cheap enough to leave where you know, in your blind or something like that, and somebody steals it, no big deal. All right, so this is my disclaimer on the deer head decoy. And they say on the you know, it's got these orange things at it. That don't mean nothing. If somebody sees that in the woods and gets excited and doesn't know what they're doing, and even if they know what they're doing, I can see them cutting loose on that right there. And you know, the further into the season you get, or the closer you get to the end of the season, people get around here, rifle hunters, they begin to get a little crazy, and they will shoot deer out in people's fields where they don't even know whose property it is. We had one guy come along the highway. Now this is a major highway, or United States highway, and rode down and saw a deer out in the field of our farm, broad daylight, pulled over and shot a deer out of the field off of a United States highway. I won't tell you which highway it was. Well, it just so happened that our neighbor was a retired game warden, and he saw it, and he hustled on up there. Now, he was retired, and he was getting some age on him. So he confronted the guy. The guy got out pulled his car over, shot the deer, and climbed over the fence and was in the process of retrieving the deer. And the game warden came up to him, and you couldn't tell he was a game warden. He was also a farmer. And he said, "What are you doing?" And the guy says, "I'm getting this deer I just shot." He said, "You just broke about 5 or 6 laws. You shot from a highway. You shot on land you didn't have permission. You're retrieving a deer. You don't have a license." And he said, "I'm going to have to write you up take you to jail. And the guy, the hunter, the young guy, he was a young big guy, he said, well, I think you're going to have to whip my butt to take me to jail. You think you can whip my butt? And the old game warden said, I don't know if I can or not, but my boy is right there, and I think he can. And his son just walked up about the time he said that. So then it was 2 against 1. Well, they wrote him up, and they didn't let him get the deer either. Well, that's how people are, some of the people, you know. And that was, I don't remember the time, but I bet you it was close to the end of the season. And people, not all, but some people, I'm just saying, you're liable to run into people out there that don't have good sense. And then again, a lot of hunters do have good sense. I don't want to paint everybody that way. But that's my story about the good old boys around this neck of the woods. When they get frustrated, you'll hear a lot of shooting going on a day or two before the season goes out. I don't know what they're shooting. I guess they're just shooting their ammunition because they think it's going to go bad or something. All right, I'm gonna let it go right there. This is just going to be about the deer head decoy. I'm saying no to it for me, and I am not advising anybody out there to use this because I think it's dangerous. All right, this is Gardner Israel signing off.